and others from asphyxiation, believing they would be meeting Jesus. Some of the asphyxiation were kids. They didn't even understand what was going on. All they knew that mommy and daddy were trying to do right by them. Absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. And look at this at Mackenzie. Yani, this guy in his healthy looking self, as in like, he couldn't see what he was doing was wrong, was extreme. Now, there's a mother who was extremely shocked to see her son on TV arrested alongside Paul Mackenzie. Now, as the country was closely following the Shakahola death updates on news outlets, so was Miss Lillian Kabarika. But the news on the night of May 2nd left her in shock and disbelief. That night, a video of her son walking out of Malindi police station accompanied by Pastor Paul Mackenzie house. To Malindi, a town she had never set foot in, to get more details. She wanted to understand how her son ended up there. Miss Kabarika's trip to Malindi was painful for her and her immediate family. She said, "We went to the hospital in search of my grandchildren, but it was fruitless." At the Malindi police station, she asked to see her son, Baran Chaenza, but when the police brought him out, they identified him as Collins. He had even changed his name. Who is Collins? He is called Baran. Miss Kabarika recalls her son saying goodbye to her, telling her he was traveling to Mombasa where his wife and children had already moved. She said, "I begged him not to go. We have no relatives in the coast region," but he insisted that he had to go because his wife and children were already there. Communication between them was good until 2 weeks ago. And she said, Baron called me crying. He tried to find out what was wrong, but he would not say a word. He just kept sobbing. The family is now torn between rejoicing that their loved one is alive and grieving that he is in police custody. She says, "At the moment, we do not know where my grandchildren or my daughter-in-law are. Baron does not want to reveal their whereabouts. The police are telling us that he could be jailed for life, and they suspect that he killed his family and wanted to commit suicide." Kenya Red Cross Coastal Manager Hassan Musa said they have registered 558 missing people so far. Oh my God. Heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking, especially for a mother to not only see her child go through that, but know that she will risk not seeing him again, and especially not knowing ahead of time what could have been going on in his life. I'm sure she's battling with a lot and just wondering what she could have done to just stop this particular tragedy happening in her son's life. Right, let's get back into the music. When we come back, we'll be finishing with the last bit of the news making the headlines this week, including the protests alleged 3 people getting killed, one of whom was going to look for supplies as she tried to return back to school. Keep it right here. This is the Breakfast Jam as we continue on with the breakdown of the breaking news. Clearly, it's all about Kenyan music this particular hour. We show love for the 254 between 8 and 9 a.m. each morning. That is from Monday to Friday. So if you know you love that Kenyan throwback, this is exactly where you need to be. This is the Breakfast Show. Africa, Myra, Maloba, the African. Be sure to follow, like, and subscribe at Icon Radio K across the board. We are live on www.iconradio.co.ke as well as YouTube, which is at Icon Radio K. Be sure to just was shot dead following a shootout by police officers in Juakali area of Kisumu town on Tuesday. According to eyewitnesses, traffic police officers opened fire at a public service vehicle after engaging in an altercation with the driver of the vehicle. I'm sorry, my God. How dumb do you have to be to open fire in a public area, especially at a PSV? With people inside it, and people are not armed, as in, anyway. So the 19-year-old student, who was a pillion passenger, was shot dead during the fracas, with 3 other people, including the rider of the motorcycle, nursing gunshot wounds. The mob had built up from the Juakali area after traffic officers from the Kisumu roundabout allegedly shot dead one woman following a disagreement between the officers and the driver of a public service vehicle. The deceased, who has since been identified as a student at Rangala Girls High School, was a pillion passenger and was headed towards the town center at the time of the incident. Property of unknown value was also destroyed as an irate mob vandalized shops and tried to gain entry to the Kisumu Central Police Station. Police used tear gas to disperse the crowd, with Nyanza Regional Traffic Commander revealing the 2 officers have already recorded statements that will facilitate investigations into the incident. Area leaders have condemned the incident, calling the Independent Policing and Oversight Authority to investigate allegations of excessive use of force by police in Kisumu. The body of the deceased was moved to Jaramogi Oginga Odinga morgue, awaiting a postmortem examination on Wednesday. So yes, this is what's going on in our streets. I think there's some time back where a police officer was known to have launched a gun at a boda rider who was riding off following a traffic incident, and it hit the passenger at the back of the head, and the passenger, of course, collapsed from the blow and died. I mean, some of the moves by these cops, especially where citizens are unarmed, it makes absolutely zero sense to take such action. You'd rather just record the license plate, catch the guy later, or take action in a different way, because having to endanger the lives of innocent people, especially a young girl who's just trying to return back to school, absolutely tragic. Some of the actions of these police people, man, they just needs to be examined, whether some of them need to be given guns or not. Just the other day, a man in Nakuru was gunned down by a police officer because he allegedly reversed 320 bob at a bar. So the police officer decided to hunt this guy down like this is the Wild Wild West and proceed to try and shoot him in a crowded area. They managed to single him out when people ran away fast enough to get away from that particular scene, and he was gunned down in plain sight. Over 320 bob. Luckily, this particular man was caught and has been arrested. But again, I think a lot of due diligence needs to be done before arming some of these police people. Police people. I keep calling them police people. But before arming the police, a lot of due diligence needs to be done, because some of these guys just don't comprehend don't comprehend a lot of things, especially when it comes to how to conduct themselves in public. We're going to finish off with the last bit of news. Now, in the Americas, a man shot down a 14-year-old girl while she was playing hide and seek. Now, officials in southwest Louisiana have charged a 58-year-old man in connection with the shooting of a group of juveniles who were playing hide and seek, one of whom was injured. The incident happened early Sunday in the small town of Starks, Louisiana, near the Texas state line. Authorities say that a group of juveniles were playing hide and seek in the area and were hiding on the neighbor's property. Doyle told detectives that he observed shadows outside his home, at which time he went inside and retrieved his firearm. He then advised detectives he went back outside and observed people running away from his property, at which time he began shooting at them. A 14-year-old girl was shot in the back of the head and was transported to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The area where the shooting occurred is a dead-end road with only 3 residents: Doyle, the victim's family, and a relative of the victim's family. Doyle was charged with aggravated battery, 4 counts of aggravated assault with a firearm, and illegal discharge of a firearm. Now, America, what's going on? Like, literally, anybody is found on somebody's property. There's no such thing as being neighborly anymore. Just the other day, again, in Texas, a man who was neighbors with a family who just had a newborn was asked to, stop firing off rounds of his gun because the newborn was finding it difficult to sleep. And he went into their house and shot down 5 people, including an 8-year-old child. That's another place that's become the wild, wild west. Gun toting, gun waving, firing off of firearms has now become a thing that has become a daily occurrence in the States. A daily occurrence. And Myra, who has like many relatives in the States, I fear for these guys. I pray for the best because guys have gone crazy. Gun laws remain something that is highly debated, but has to now be regulated because too many people losing their lives, especially children who are being put in harm's way when it comes to people who are adults who have full thinking capacity but are shooting off guns and killing innocent young lives. Now, we'll finish off with a little bit of good news for Kabarak University, who regained their Facebook account. Now, Kabarak University on Tuesday, May 9th, recovered the institution's Facebook account that had earlier been hacked by cyber criminals. Speaking to Kenyans.co.ke, contact personnel from the university confirmed the information but did not reveal whether the hacker was traced and action taken against them. The ICT team leader also declined to comment on the issue. A spot check revealed that all the posts from the hacker were pulled down, and the first post of the day was an advertisement video indicating that May intake was ongoing. Further, the institution changed its profile photo and cover photo to the university's logo and banner, respectively. By the time the institution's Facebook account was hacked, the verified page had 46,000 followers and 36,000 likes. Upon regaining the account, the page's likes had climbed up to 47,000. And while followers nearly doubled to 72,000. So that could be an actual positive from this crazy outcome. Now, University Vice Chancellor Professor Henry Kiplagat earlier affirmed to the media that the institution had reached out to its Facebook parent company Meta to assist with their account. So well done, Kabarak University. You get back your page with now an addition of about 10 to 20,000 new followers. Well done. All right, let us get back into the music and let's get into the topic of the day with our Wellness Wednesday. We'll be looking at how isolation and actually just taking time to yourself could be good for your mental health. Keep it right here. This is the Kenyan Hour on the Breakfast Jam. So that was her with Missing My Baby. Of course, classic playing right here. And I found myself just singing along to it. However much I didn't like her music. Avril, I didn't get. I was like, why are they so famous with their music? And I was just like, anyway, there's a reason why people liked them. It's the reason why people loved them. And yeah, we're celebrating them right here on the Breakfast Jam as we continue to celebrate our WCWs, our Women Crush, this Wednesday. Also this Wednesday, we're all about that wellness for yourself. And there's one thing that people tend to understand, and while others don't. That is solitude. Solitude is basically just finding that time to yourself, or just being basically okay with not being surrounded by people and okay with being by yourself. There are moments in time where I do actually love my own time, where I'm not being surrounded by people. I'm there just jamming to my own music. I'm in my own thoughts, in my own head. I'm just there thinking to myself. So there are times like I take for solitude, especially, when you're a mother, you're a business owner, you're a child of someone. You're always having to deal with people, and you're always having to, move from okay. There are certain times in the year where there are times I crave to be around people, but there are times I just need that quiet thing. So we're looking at why time on your own sometimes can be good for you. Yeah. Now, spending time alone can induce fear in a lot of people, which is understandable. At the same time, the difference between moments of solitude and loneliness is often misunderstood. Now, the time we spend alone, not interacting with other people, is something that has been researched by some people for a long time. Findings on young people's time alone has suggested that they often experience low moods when alone. On social media, television, or in the music we listen to, we typically picture happiness as excitement, enthusiasm. It's often mistaken for loneliness. In psychology, however, researchers define loneliness as a distressed feeling that we experience when we don't have or are unable to get the kind of social connections or relationships we hope for. Solitude is different. Now, while people's definitions of solitude might vary, what is interesting is that for many, being solitary doesn't necessarily mean there's no one else around. Instead, many people can and do find solitude in public places. Whether this can be sitting with a cup of tea in a busy cafe or reading a book in a park. And sometimes taking time to yourself could have a positive impact on your daily mood. Many of us have had days when there are troubles at work, when things don't go as expected, or when we take on too much and feel overwhelmed. Now, there's a particular in a series of experiments from this particular writer. They used this experiment on undergraduate students, and they asked them to sit quietly in a room by themselves. In some studies, this particular writer took away students' backpacks and devices and asked them to sit with their thoughts. At other times, the students stayed in the room with books or their phones. After just 15 minutes of being alone, this particular writer found that any strong emotions the participants might have been feeling, such as anxiety or excitement, dropped. And she concluded that solitude has a capacity to bring down people's arousal levels, meaning it can be useful in situations that we feel frustrated, agitated, or angry. Many people might assume that only introverts would enjoy solitude, but while it is true that introverts might prefer to be alone, they are not the only people who can reap the benefits from solitude. In a survey of more than 18,000 adults around the world, more than half voted for solitude as one of the key activities they engage in for rest. So if you are an extrovert, don't let this stop you from taking time for solitude to calm down. There are various ways of finding solitude, okay? For me, I would go maybe shopping for the house, and then like end up just taking time strolling as I plug my ears, listening to my music. Like you see, I'm always in my earphones or headphones, so I'm strolling around listening to music, taking time to go through the aisles, look around what's new in the supermarket, look around at people. And then like now my particular shopping area is within Mombasa Road, so when I chamoka from there, there's a snow cream literally outside the supermarket, and I can't stop myself from going there and actually sitting down, getting my favorite ice cream, and just chilling, and then continue to listen to music, and then just think, or zima, or going to a cafe, getting my favorite chocolate fudge, sitting down, and then again just either plugging in music or just zimaing everything and just enjoying whatever I am taking at the time and just zimaing. It is something that's very, very therapeutic for me. And I talked to another mother, and she was like saying the same thing. She was like, her time off is when she goes shopping. And my dad used to do that a lot. I used to wonder, like, where does this man like going to the malls or going to the supermarkets? But now I get to understand, when you're going through the motions of life, especially adulting, those are the times you take time off and just think. What are your moments of solitude, and what are your moments of thinking? Be sure to let me know on +254 788 380030 on the YouTube channel comment section right there. Also, we'll be when we come back, we'll be taking a look at what it's like to be sitting with your thoughts, and can it be easy or difficult, and what also engaging in fun activities alone can do for you. Keep it right here on the Breakfast Jam. We're all about the wellness this Wednesday. Bad boy. Okay, let me tell you. I was telling you I was hitting on Amani just a little bit before. But she is, of course, an award winner. But that particular song was a huge hit, especially when you put Nyashinsky on it. She came out looking fly and good for that time. And this song just came together literally magically. But then she just went on to become a gospel artist after a while. Now, Cecilia Wairumo, aka Amani, was born 28th November 1980. Better known by her stage name Amani, and is a Kenyan singer and songwriter. Her contributions to the Kenyan music industry have earned her several coveted accolades, including Best Female category at the 2009 MTV Music Awards, Pearl of Africa Music Awards, Kisima Awards, and Chagolatini Awards. She released her debut album in 2006. Now, between 2000 and 2006, her debut single Move On was a radio hit. She released her follow-up singles Tahidi and Papi in 2001. Her 2002 collaboration with Nameless in Minanoki was a major national hit, true to that. And her later single included Talk to You, featuring Patini and Big Pin, Bad Boy, which we just played, featuring Nyashinsky, Usiwe Mbali, featuring AY, who she was rumored to be dating at some point, Tamani, Missing My Baby, and Tonight. She is currently the brand ambassador of Airtel Kenya. Now, her debut album Tamani was released in 2006, and she toured major areas within the United States, Europe, and Africa. In 2010, Amani was featured on the Hands Across the World, a song written and produced by R. Kelly. The song serves as the first release for the African supergroup 1-8, composed by Amani, Alikiba, Navio, Fali Ipupa, Two-Face, Idibia, JK, 4x4, and Movazi, that one. Described as an uplifting ballad by Billboard's Diane Concert. The song was released by Rockstar 4000 Music Entertainment. She later on claimed that she was born again in 2018 with My God and Bueno being some of her songs as a born again Christian. This new leaf came about as both a surprise and shock to her fans, but she stated she was there to stay. Very talented, very critically acclaimed, of course, with her music. And of course, we're going to be keeping out a look for her and what she's going to be doing in future. And she is our artist of the week, this Kenyan, particular Kenyan segment. So now what's going to be happening is every Wednesday, we're going to be showcasing and highlighting our artist of the week. And again, this week happens to be Amani. So look out for who's going to be there next Wednesday, because the reason why I am babbling over it is something we've just introduced. So look out for the artists. And of course, if you want to be highlighted, be sure to let me know on +254 788 380030. Let's go back to our Wellness Wednesday topic of the day, which is solitude. What are the benefits? And of course, right now we're looking at the difficult situations that can come out of being in solitude. Now, sitting with your thoughts can indeed be difficult. The challenging part about spending time alone is that it can be boring and lonely sometimes. Many people find that sitting with their thoughts can be difficult and prefer having something to do. Indeed, forcing yourself to sit and do nothing can lead to you finding time alone less enjoyable. So you might prefer to have some sort of activity during your moment of solitude. Now, during this particular writer's study, she gave participants a choice to do nothing or spend their time sorting hundreds and hundreds of golf pencils into boxes. After being asked to be alone for 10 minutes, most participants chose to sort the pencils. This is the sort of activity I thought most people would find boring. However, the choice to do the boring task stems from the desire to keep busy when other people are not around to occupy our mental space. So if you find yourself scrolling on your device every time you have a few moments of solitude, this is quite common. Don't be hard on yourself. Many people scroll to cope with stress and boredom. Some people also prefer spending their time alone doing daily chores, such as going grocery shopping or doing laundry. This is valid solitary time. I remember when I was heavily pregnant. That was during the time, during the time for COVID and before that. I would find joy in either just waking up in the middle of the night, finding that I was by myself, and I'd make a mix of pancakes, clean up the house, and just do things that, I would do the next day, the day before, so that I could wake up free and clear. But also just take time again to just be in my thoughts and just enjoy an activity where I wasn't having to stress about, oh, the baby, oh, what's going to happen when I deliver, oh, am I going to be in pain? Such like things. I was concentrating more, the things that were making me happy. Baking was making me happy. Making pancakes was making me happy. The thought of waking up and making those pancakes and eating them was making me happy. So I would find ways of just keeping myself busy, and that would be like, again, just doing chores around the house, cleaning up, and just doing things that involved my hands, where I could just find satisfaction. Have you ever found satisfaction out of cleaning or just completing a task? I find joy in doing such things. Now, engaging in fun activities alone is something that is interesting. However, many people shy away from engaging in fun activities alone, like going to the cinema or dining at a restaurant. This might be because we tend to think of them as activities we do with friends and close ones. So doing them alone can make us feel judged and self-conscious. Traveling alone is another activity that can be intimidating, particularly for women. But a key benefit of going solo is the opportunity to find calm and having the freedom to choose what to do and how to do it. Now, for this particular writer, they have challenged themselves to take on some of these fun activities in moments of solitude, and they have found the experience rather liberating. Other women have similar experiences, especially when traveling, which has left them feeling empowered and freed. To overcome our fear of solitude, we need to recognize its benefits and see it as a positive choice. Not something that happens to us. While taking a solo trip might be a bit much for you right now, take time out of your busy schedule for small doses of solitude, which might well be just what you need. Now, traveling alone is something that is definitely on my bucket list. It's something that's definitely something I would love to try, but I am so scared of the unknown. And I usually live vicariously through women on social media who do these budget trips alone across the world and tell you just exactly how to do it, how to be careful while doing it, and just various tips. It's something I haven't gotten myself and wrapped my head around, but I am trying to. I think the urge is there. Like with babies, when they have that urge to walk, may I have that urge to actually travel alone, experience the world alone, and try and see if I can get through just enjoying my own time and experiencing different things by myself. I'm already okay with sitting alone in a restaurant and enjoying my meal by myself without having to talk to anybody. I'm already okay with even just going to a cinema, or even sometimes even just the bar alone and just enjoying my time alone. I'm okay with that. But traveling is on my bucket list. I'm trying to see how to do it by myself and enjoy time by myself without having to rely on anyone else. And very soon I'll be doing it and documenting it with you guys. Now, do you have solitude moments to yourself? How do you go about it? What do you do? I'd love to hear from you on +254 788 0030, especially for you who has traveled by yourself and finds joy in doing that, or even just zip lining or doing an activity where it's not involving your family or your friends. I would love to hear from you. Hit me up and let me know. Also on our YouTube channel in the comment section right there, and let's chop it up. We are going into the top of the hour, where we're all about your requests. Let me know what you'd like to get played. Anything goes, as long as it's nice and clean, no cuss words. I will play it for you, and I'll play it for you absolutely free. Also, if you'd like to make somebody's day, again, we're all about celebrating mental health this month. If you'd like to lift up their spirits, wish them a happy birthday, celebrate a life event with them, be sure to hit me up. I will definitely play your message for you, whether it's a voice note or if you want to just send out a message in written form, just send it to me and I'll definitely put out your message for you. But for now, we get back into the last few minutes of the Kenyan hour. When we come back, we'll be going into the entertainment news, making the headlines this week.
Welcome to Icon Radio Highlights. Today, I'm Fridaywood. Mystery of Kwale Church, whose 100+ believers left home to live in pastor's home. A church in Kwale County is being investigated by the police after rumors emerged that the church seems to be operating in a cult ideology. The Rainbow Faith Ministries, located a forested area, is said to be home to hundreds of believers under the management of its leader Mzee Mdata Nyamawi. The church is being accused of brainwashing believers, as some are said to have left their jobs in big companies to go and stay to worship and do manual labor. UNHCR intensifies measures to address refugee crisis countrywide. The Kenyan government, in partnership with the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, has formed an intergovernmental committee on Kenyan Marshall Plan for refugees, seeking to support the displaced person with a view to reducing over-reliance on humanitarian aid. Senator Cheregai dismisses public outcry. He says the finance bill will be passed without a comma. Cherengai noted that currently the country has a deficit of around 800 billion Kenyan shillings, adding that without the measures being taken, the country will be forced to continue borrowing, which is not sustainable. The court finds former President of the United States, Donald Trump, liable for sexual abuse and forced to pay $5 million to the accuser. New York jury finds Donald Trump guilty for sexual abuse and defaming an American former magazine columnist and ordered to pay her $5 million in damages. Carol, who is a 79-year-old, sued Trump last year, alleging that he raped her in the changing room of the luxury store on Manhattan's Fifth Avenue. EPZ workers protest over poor working conditions. Workers have complained to the managers about persistent water shortages and leaking roofs of the zone. They claim that the last 3 months, the entire EPZ zone has been experiencing severe water rationing, affecting operations. Some investors spoke and said that government companies use huge steam irons that do not use saline water, and if the problem goes on, they will be forced to close down the company. Lastly, Jeff Mwadhi's family pleads with President William Ruto on knowing how their son died. The family of late Jeff Mwadhi called for a re-investigation into the death of their son, claiming that some prominent people are interfering with the investigation. Join me at 1 p.m. for more updates. This is Icon Radio News. I'm Fridaywood.
know, as for the song, think about the lyrics with MI. When it says, let me teach you how to speak in Swahili. Ish, where? I was going to say something really crazy. Anyway, yes, that was RJ with Ali Kiba. Playing right here on the Breakfast Jam. I was looking at a picture of Wema Sepetu in Diamond where she's talking about the fact that she left him not because she was unable to conceive children, as it was perceived widely, but because he was cheating. That's what led me to this song. Anyway, that was the genesis of us playing that song, okay? Right, this is the Breakfast Jam, where we're all about your requests between 9 and 10 a.m. Let us know what you'd like to listen to right here, and we'll definitely play it for you. All you have to do is hit us up on +254 788-380030. Yes, let's take a quick look at how the weather is looking for you right about now. Going into 10 a.m., 90 degrees, intermittent clouds, humidity at 74% in Nairobi, Mombasa, 27 degrees, partly sunny, humidity at 79% in Kisumu. 25 degrees, mostly sunny, humidity at 70%. All right, moving on swiftly because we're still on that Wellness Wednesdays. I'd like to mention a story that I just bumped into, and that was Lionel Richie was saying his secrets to staying young are water, good sleep, and sex. Now, Lionel Richie revealed his secrets for maintaining his youthful looks throughout the decades after his performance at King Charles' celebratory concert on Sunday. The singer told the Daily Mail that he will never resort to plastic surgery to maintain his looks, as he feels it always goes wrong if you try to reverse the procedures. Now, plastic surgery locks you in for that year while you recover. And after that, you can't go naturally. You're staying right there. You try and go back to reset, and you can't, he said. And that ish goes wrong. Richie also stated that he has more natural approach to anti-aging by using traditional methods such as sleeping, drinking a lot of water, and having sex. He says water, sleep, and sweat, not so much red meat. I know it's real boring, but sex will also work, and it's good for your heart. There you go. Your Wellness Wednesday tip from the Lionel Richie himself. I think he's about in his 70s right about now. I look at his face and always think he actually did surgery or Botox or put in fillers. But there are people who think that actually he did have surgery. So I'm going to read a few comments because I'm getting this from Hollywood Unlocked. Somebody said, "You got your face done, sir." Okay. That's exactly what I thought. I'm like, that can't be the face of a 70-year-old. Like, literally, he can't even raise his eyebrows, okay? So I don't think that is something that is natural. Because he can't even look shocked, okay? Somebody else said, I know a cosmetic face when I see one. I do too. Somebody else said, don't forget the knife. And that was an added and Coke and Botox and fillers and facelifts. One more I'll read out. So those chicks just moved up on their own. Nah, Unc, why you lie like that? Yeah, so I was right as well. There's a way with his plastic surgery, but he's still trying to attribute it to, the things he talked about, which is, again, drinking lots of water, getting lots of good sleep, and sex. So maybe revert to those ways and then try and see if it works out for you, or if not, if all fails, probably go his way and just try to lie about surgery. All right, let's get back into the music. When we come back, we'll be looking at more news making headlines this morning, including Tiwa Savage, who has come from very far to where she is right now. back. I think that was around 2013. I'm on that good Asian alcohol. Oof. Yes, we're taking you back right here on the Breakfast Jam. I'm your girl, Myra, Maloba, the Afro-Punk Queen at Icon Radio, #1 entertainment plug. Streaming live on www.iconradio.co.k and youtube.com/@iconradio.k. Be sure to let me know what you'd like to get played on our WhatsApp number. That's +254 788 380030. Now for the entertainment news making the headlines this morning. A lot of people have come to the rescue of Mustafa, and I'm glad to see that that story changed for the better, especially now after he willingly narrated what he was going through. A lot of people were, had the misconception that either he was, the video came out because he's got a new song that he's trying to remove, or, it's a publicity stunt. But it actually turned out that his mother is suffering from cancer. He even actually spoke to blogger Eve Mungai over the weekend about it and explained even further as to what was going on. And really felt like he wouldn't be able to express himself, especially because you're seeing his mates were advancing in one way or another and he wasn't. And he felt kind of like ashamed of his situation, but he didn't feel ashamed enough to not go out and look for a means of how to seek treatment, the money for the treatment of his mother. Now, a group of well-wishers have actually come out to save the situation and help him out. Now, there was one particularly steered by somebody called Fawz Khalid, who came together and raised 600,000 for him and his family. Now, a group of well-wishers steered by Fawz Khalid raised 600,000 for Colonel Mustafa on Saturday evening by 9 p.m. They were not left behind as Ezekiel Mutua offered Mustafa's lawyers to recover money and rescue ailing mother. Now, MCSK Chief Executive Officer Ezekiel Mutua on Tuesday, May 9th, came to the aid of iconic singer Colonel Mustafa and his mother, who is suffering from stage 2 lymphoma cancer. Speaking exclusively to Kenyans.co.ke, Mutua noted that he sent monetary support to Mustafa's mother. He also organized for a meeting with the artist to discuss long-term measures of how the artist could recoup the money earned from his songs over the years. Finally, now further, MCSK would provide Mustafa with lawyers if the matter would be dragged to court. He added that they discussed plans of getting Mustafa back into the music business. The MCSK CEO noted that he could relate to the lengths Mustafa went to look after his mother, as he lost his own mother 2 months ago. Now, he said, I took care of my mother for 20 years and it was hard, very hard, losing her. The first time I came across Mustafa's story was last week, but did not pay much attention to it. Today morning, which was Tuesday, which is yesterday, was when I found out how much he sacrificed because of his mother, who has cancer. I was touched, and in that moment, I went online to look for his contact. He lauded Mustafa for exhibiting positivity despite the circumstances and bravery in going public with his plight. Alluding to his music career, Mutua questioned the legal structures for artists to earn from songs being played in public for commercial gain. He questioned the head of MCSK, the CEO of MCSK questioned. Anyway, he affirmed that Mustafa would enroll in the Copyright Society to ensure that his past and future songs were safeguarded. Now, during the interview with Eve Mungai, he also alluded to the fact that the rights to his music remained with his label. He did not have even 1 shilling come to him from royalties played from his music over and over again. The MCSK's mandate is to collect royalties in public performance and broadcasting on behalf of its members and to distribute some of its members based on the professional rules of copyright collective management organizations. Since Mustafa's plight made headlines, fellow artists and well-wishers reached out to show support. Kenyan musician Herbert Nakitari alias Nonini urged his fans to stand with the artist and channel funds to his mother's medical funds. He said, everyone who has dealt with cancer in their families know very well the burden let us stand with Mustafa and the mother as they take on this battle. Well done, people. Well done for everybody who has rallied around him and given him their support, whether emotionally or financially. And of course, we continue just continue to give him support, and of course, send our well wishes to the mother who is trying to seek treatment for her cancer at this time. So I'll try and see it by tomorrow if there is a particular number that people can donate to, or I'll try to reach out to people who may know of where people can donate to, and we'll try to highlight it here on the Breakfast Jam. And of course, I'm just applauding Colonel Mustafa for just coming out and just speaking boldly about his situation without withdrawing into himself and keeping this particular case to himself. All right, guys, let's get back into the music. When we come back, we'll be looking at more news making the headlines this week, including Tiwa Savage and how far she has gotten in her career thus far. fighting with somebody, you know me. Yes, we're all about that throwback therapy. And of course, your request this morning. Hey, man, what's going on? I've been dry and empty. You know me, I have abandonment issues. So make sure that you meet me again tomorrow between 9 and 10 a.m. and let me know what exactly you'd like to get played. But we did play Tea with Uba. And remember that's tomorrow. Not tomorrow, on Friday morning. From 10 a.m. to 12 noon, we're going to be having Sandra back in studio with guest DJ Nesh K, of course, our very own DJ Ascom, and Semiti himself. Let me tell you, I am fangirling 100 times over. I'll tell you, this is the music that got me through COVID, and then now just have this guy come through to studio. I am so excited. He's also going to be having a string of concerts, or rather showcases, happening starting this weekend. So you're going to find out more about that on the stage. So be sure to tune in this Friday between 10 a.m. and 12 noon to get more on that information. Speaking of amazing performers from across Africa, we're taking a look at Tiwa Savage today because I think she has reached the epitome of her just being absolutely great. Not only is she an amazing vocalist, she's an amazing artist all around. Now, who is Tiwa Savage? Tiwa Savage is. She is an artist who was born in February 5th, 1980, known professionally as Tiwa Savage, but her name is Tiwa Top Savage. She's a Nigerian singer, songwriter, and actress, and has also been called the Queen of Afrobeats. Savage sings in English and Yoruba. Her music is a blend of Afrobeats, R&B, pop, and hip-hop. Savage's contributions to the Nigerian music industry have earned her several achievements. Born in Isale, Echo. She relocated to London at the age of 11 for her secondary education. 5 years later, she began her music career doing backup vocals for artists such as George Michael and Mary J. Blige. After participating in the UK edition of the X Factor and graduating from Berklee College of Music, Savage signed a publishing deal with Sony ATV Music Publishing in 2009. Inspired by the growth of Nigerian music industry, Savage moved back to Nigeria and signed with Marvin Records in 2012. She made an appearance on the label's 2012 compilation album Solar Pixis. Now, we also played her music earlier before with Sauti Soul, Boy Next Door, Girl Next Door. Absolutely amazing collaboration, and she's not one to shy from those, and has just gone on to make amazing music. Now, we found the clip where she was actually on that X Factor, and today we're taking you back and show you just a little bit of where her origins actually came from. Just enjoy this clip as we play it right now. That was young Tiwa Savage, a 26-year-old with the vocals that can fill a stadium. And talking about filling a stadium, she managed to dazzle audiences at King Charles III coronation concert. Lord Jesus, she made it there. Mama, we made it! Now, Nigerian superstar Tiwa Savage bloomed on stage while performing Keys to the Kingdom at the star-studded concert at the East Lawn at Windsor Castle, following King Charles and Queen Camilla's coronation on Saturday. Now, recall that American top singer Beyonce featured Tiwa Savage and Mr. Easy on their aforesaid song in the Lion King album. The Prince and Princess of Wales were among the guests in the royal box as they watched performances from Tiwa, Take That, Katy Perry, Olimars, among others. Lionel Richie's song All Night Long got the royals up dancing, with the Duchess of Edinburgh showing off her moves. After Lionel's performance, Prince William took to the stage to share a touching tribute to his pa in a moving speech before the crowd sang the national anthem. So yes, big moves, not only for Nigeria but for Africa as a whole. As of course, we take pride whatever is represented out there that is truly African, and Tiwa Savage is just that representation and embodiment of just excellence, and one person who is just the image of just accepting the process, taking the process and running with it. Okay. So she, of course, is our musical icon of the day. Big shout out to her, and of course the work that she is doing. We can't wait to see how far her star shines for years to come. Let's go back into the music. When we come back, we'll be finishing off with the last bit of the music, as well as finishing off the show. Keep it right here. This is the Breakfast Jam with your girl Myra Maloba, the Afro Punk Queen.